Hi, this is on Imagination with a Healing Garden. And if you are new to my channel, I am a philosopher, psychologist, and sociologist of 30 years. My alma mater is the ancient University of Alexandria. People say the God code is just God's name, and that if you have this one name, you will become a God. God's name is I. I am God. And so are you. It came with psychology. I was studying the identity, breaking it all down. And that's when I found the philosopher's compass. That's when I found the philosopher's compass. That's how I found the philosopher's compass. It was at the very end of psychology. And I was asking the question of what is identity? And I studied it. Identity is what we love. Intuition. The life titans. Ego. Conscious awareness. That was the first triangle I saw. Identity, intuition, ego. Then I saw another one. I saw, this was actually the first one, my life titans. Identity, the subconscious mind, and ego, conscious awareness. That was the first. Let me see if I can hold that up for you. And I noticed that conscious awareness, ego, was part of two triangles. That was the first network. So was identity. So it was actually subconscious mind. So it looked like that. With identity and ego making up the subconscious mind, but also ego and identity made up intuition. So I was seeing triangles within triangles, 12 triangles to be exact. For every one triangle, there are 12 additional triangles. Now, they say when you reach the God code, you can see subjects without ever studying them. I have not studied whatever this is. I don't know what this is. I have no idea. I can draw it out. I can show you. And I have no knowledge of what this stuff is. This is when I realized I'd found the God code. I, up to this point, could logically deduce that any knowledge I pull from was just referenced from any of the hundreds of topics that I studied. So every time I saw something logically, even though I'd never studied it, I was able to say, oh, well, I just picked that up over there, until I couldn't. When I got to, I don't know what this is. When I got to this point where I saw this triangle, and then this triangle within a triangle, and just a ball of triangles. And then I saw like molecules, the negative and the positive charge and the neutral. From that point on, I threw my hands up in the air and said, I failed out of the sciences. I didn't even take the sciences in school. I don't even have the first 12 years of science at all. I grew up in a parochial school. We didn't teach science. I read a paragraph on Galileo. That was my science. Dead fucking serious. 6th grade was the first time I saw science. They wanted me to dissect a flower. I couldn't even There was biology, and I just remember being, I don't want to talk about that. That's a trauma memory. I will not talk about that trauma memory. I have not looked at that one in years. Okay. I did not do well in biology. I then took earth science. I loved earth science, and that was it. That was all my science. So here I am now, and I'm seeing shit, and I'm just going, so that is the moment when I realized, oh, I can see subjects without knowing anything about them. Like the Big Bang stuff that I just talked about in the last video or 2 videos ago. I'm going, it's just logical. That being said, they say that when you get to this point, you reach this moment where you can start to see subjects that you shouldn't know about, that you never studied, but you can see them because you can just draw them out. That's where I'm at. It's really fucking cool. And like I did with psychology. And it's just this massive realization of it comes down to knowing how to learn and then making sure you learn the right subjects in the right order. Which brings me back to my ultimate question. First, I had asked the question, who is this God person anyway? And I want to prove it. Boom. We are gods. It's us. We just forgot. Because we forgot how to learn. And that is what Alexandria was doing. It was an epicenter that was literally teaching people how to become gods by giving them the God code. That's all it was. Alexander the Great never completed the course. Aristotle was his teacher. And look what he did with the knowledge. Look at what he did with the knowledge. I believe that Alexander the Great took that information back to Rome. And I believe that Rome had the God code. And I believe that when in the 1st and 2nd century, when the Huns and the Goths attacked Rome and she fell, she never fell, she ran to her second headquarters, Constantinople, Persia. And the Byzantium Empire was just the Roman Empire licking its wounds in the corner. And they plan to come back. But you can't come back from a fall like that. Everyone kind of knows your name and your reputation. So they remarketed themselves. They rebranded themselves the Holy Roman Empire. They grabbed a random religion that was underground at that time. They had a history with the Christians. So they pulled them out of hiding and they threw them into a closet called the Council of Nicaea for 60 years while they doctored this religion precisely as they wanted it because they had the God code, a portion of it anyway. And I couldn't stop asking myself very recently, how do you market yourself if you don't have any marketing material? How do you market yourself? Story. And this went back to ancient Alexandria. Over 9 subjects just in art alone. Why? That was my other question. Why? Because to teach, you have to become an actor. And I thought just now, isn't it interesting that children are to be taught how to teach first? And then when you walk into Alexandria, they teach you how to be a student, which means at 12 years old, you become a student But from ages 0, infancy, to 12, you are supposed to be teaching. Isn't that interesting? That children are supposed to be our teachers for 12 years. And then you have to go to school to become a student. Isn't that interesting? That children are gifted with the privilege to teach. And we are supposed to be the students of our children. That's proper parenting. I started using this on my children. Oh, yeah. Did I see change happen? I learned a lot. Whenever you are in a position of power, the correct and only role that you should be taking is a student. This is the other law of Alexandria that got lost. That if you are ever in a situation where you must be in superior, in size, in shape, in gender, not really, whoever has the power should become the student. The reason for this is it immediately puts you in a place of power into a place of vulnerability to ensure that the person with less power can feel safe. We are all abusers. We are all abusers. We did this, and we need to fix it. I am collecting stories. I want to know your story of how you became a magical adult or an ethereal walker or an energy walker. If you identify as being an alien, a mermaid, a changeling, a fairy, a fae, a god, whatever your story is, I want to hear it. Please click on the link below. There is instructions that are provided to please reach out to me and send me your story. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.